Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all and begin the evening with a recitation from the Holy Quran.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون آمنت بالله صدق الله العظيم.
Traffic jams were bad, but this is nothing compared to Lahore. Or maybe we just took the wrong boat. Anyways, I would like to, I think this is the fifth time that we are sitting together and reconvening around accelerated technology, mentor graphics, and other various names that we've used previously. And the intent has been to be able to bring the academia, bring the private sector, bring anyone that has anything to do with technology. I wouldn't like to call it IT actually, because IT has a very prefix annotation, but I would call it technology. Anyone that is involved, anyone that is supporting it, anyone that is facilitating it, anyone that is actually doing any work in that sector. To one place to where we can recap where the trends are going, what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, and possibly collaborate or share ideas to be able to help further foreign investment in Pakistan or directives that will lead to foreign investment in Pakistan. So I would like to do a quick recap of what the 5 years been. And trust me, it won't take a long time. I would say probably about 10 to 15 minutes. When we first got started, I think it was a very the intent was certainly to grow, but it was a very small team. I never doubted from day one that we're going to not be successful. In fact, from the very beginning, my intent was to make sure that we pick the right people that not necessarily have the right expertise, but are committed to give it a shot, has the right basic concepts so they can learn and build upon this thing. So we had a team of 5 people. In fact, it wasn't very far from here where we interviewed these guys. We didn't even have a facility to our name. And these folks were committed. Our first meeting was in this particular hotel where we decided as to where we're going to have our first operation set up. Just like any other starting a business in any other regions, and I think there has been challenges of various sorts. We certainly dealt with our share of challenges in the past 5 years. For the first year, I would say our productivity was next to none. We didn't produce anything, we didn't develop anything, and maybe perhaps this was all presumed. Our intent was to get off the ground, build the basic infrastructure, so that we can grow upon this thing. Understand the needs of what the challenges would be, and be able to make sure that we deal with each challenge, and we won't give up. And as you guys look around, we didn't give up. And I think that was the core concept behind this operation, that we are going to give it a shot and make this a successful operation regardless of what challenges we face. We had trouble finding the right expertise and right talent. from the very beginning. But I think that the help and support that we got from the local academia has been immense. In fact, somebody was just telling me a few minutes ago that there are 2 other companies that are starting operations or considering starting operations in Lahore or Pakistan around embedded systems. I think it's a resounding success that we are changing the landscape here. So first couple of years, but the second year we started to gain some momentum. We're starting to have at least basic expertise to where we can build some support infrastructure. We can do some QA activities, we can do some research, we can do some what we can call system integration activities, but not necessarily any core development per se. We were still dealing with the challenges of red tape, local bureaucracies, getting the stuff in and out of Pakistan, having the basic infrastructure. We were working off of 128K modems. Third year, I think when we started to really gain some visibility in the local sector and people starting to help facilitate things. So they understood that our unique hardware requirements made us susceptible to I guess, the bureaucracy of the customs. I met with these guys personally, where they didn't know what the board was and they didn't want to let go. The reason why I'm telling you guys all these details is because these are the stepping stone of what it takes to start a company and what sort of motivation and desire is required to be able to make it a successful operation. We've been through these, folks. It was a challenge from the very beginning, but we didn't give up. All of you didn't give up. 2 years ago, Mentor Graphics acquired the company that we work very closely with, our parent company in the US called Accelerate Technology. Very first concern that came out after the acquisition was whether Pakistan operation will live or will let go. Well, if you were to ask any public company to be able to come set up operations in Pakistan in the midst of what the geopolitical situation was around here, I bet you they will have concerns. And so did the Mentor Graphic. But we didn't give up. We communicated to them, we addressed their concerns, we explained it to them that it's been a viable operation. It has potential to grow. We have the right mix of talent. We have some shortcomings in the technology. We have tolerant society. And we can make this operation a successful Mentor Graphics operation. Last year, some of you probably met with the president of Mentor Graphics and some of his other senior staff that was here. We brought him down here and we showed him. He was certainly very impressed. And as we see now, for the team that is here, constantly seeing all sorts of various support staff from Mentor Graphics coming in to be able to help build the infrastructure and standards that show that we are a Fortune 500 company. From a technology standpoint, embedded systems is, as I just mentioned to another individual I was chatting with, is a facet of this overall portfolio of technology, I would say. Our ability to draw the right talent and retain that talent and make sure that talent is productive is a key part of our success. And where do we get this talent from? They come from the local academia. They come from universities, which are responsible of putting out the right talent to help support this local economy, I would say. But there wasn't really a local economy, in my opinion. I think 5 years ago, when I first started looking around for engineers, I found a lot of college graduates that were out in the market for some time. Their perception of career was entirely different. Perception of career was to get started with a company, get some experience if they possibly can, so they can build their resume, so they can go outside. Go outside the country, go outside this particular region, or go elsewhere where they can find a career-oriented job. I think one of the other key things Mentor Graphics is providing by being here is changing that particular philosophy, changing that mindset. I tell that to the employees that work for us. Think of it as a career for yourself. It is not a stepping stone. It is not an experience or a training facility. It is a place where you can build a career and grow with the company. And that is, in my opinion, a psychological shift in a mindset of our talent that comes out of the universities. We saw that happening in some of the other key geographies. We saw that happening in PAC Group Asia. We saw that happening in India, where people that have lived, educated, and worked in those key areas want to come back and relocate and work for companies that provide them with challenging work and help support a career objective for them. So I feel Graphics have, although it is here to be able to draw key talent in engineering, I wouldn't say necessarily a key talent in engineering entirely based on cost arbitrage, because it isn't. I was recently in Moscow attending to our operations there, and somebody approached me and said, I have a PhD in simulation technology, and I teach at the university, at the Technology Institute in Moscow, to hire me for $150 a month because I'm not happy with my job. So see, there are other geographies that have been closed. That closed for a number of years, and they are entirely driven on cost. We were to go out there and explore those geographies. We can exploit low-cost labor. But I think it's more than that. I think if we were to look beyond this thing, it has a wider purpose. And the purpose of that is that it helps intertwine people from all other various areas and countries and geographies and religions and concepts to be able to create an open society. I think Mentor Graphics is pioneering that. It is a true global company. It has a presence in 65 countries. Its founding father, Wally Ryans, was the first gentleman who started the operations in Bangalore in 1985. There was no other Fortune 500 or even a key American organization that was working on core technology was out there. It did not exist. But now you look at it, the landscape is entirely different. It's second to Silicon Valley. So I think with the changing dynamics of technology, with the changing dynamics of market, with the changing dynamics of the key talent pool, we got to keep one thing in mind, that we all are part of what I feel is a higher purpose here. I think that you all are a part of a mind shift or a change that is evident with time. And to some extent, in fact, we are pioneer of revitalizing or even starting to some extent the core technology operations or business or ventures in Pakistan. And I think, I believe it will help us to further get visibility to this key region, to its key talent, so that we can draw more foreign investment and draw more companies. I met with the team from Cadence, Synopsys, and a few other people at the local meeting in the Bay Area that was around EJAC. And when they heard about Pakistan and Mentor Graphics being Pakistan, how successful that did, and what sort of local institutions are out there that are putting out high caliber engineering, sure enough, they were interested. They wanted to know more about it. They wanted to know what they can possibly do to go and help exploit these resources. The landscape in Bangalore and Hyderabad are changing. They can retain engineers with key expertise for a long time. There's a fierce competition. Cost of operations are rising, and they can't control it. So So I think that we have the similar demographics. We have key institutions. We have people with vision, we have people with drive, and we have talent that is very committed. If we will put all these forces together, we can help bring the necessary visibility to this region and help draw foreign investment to Pakistan. In the end, I would like to comment a few things about the technology trends. Embedded systems has been so to speak, a motto for the past 4 or 5 years at ATI. Now that will be changing. Embedded systems, I consider, it was a new trend. It is still continuing to evolve. But as we go towards the cutting edge, we have to look at it from a perspective of software and hardware coexisting. We have to look at technologies that have the ability to drive time to market, the cost, and other productivity measures that are really driving the technology or the electronics market. If Siemens is building a next generation cell phone and we provide a technology, a tool that will allow them to be able to co-manufacture software and hardware, simulate that in programmable logic, and put that out of the prototype in 3 months' time, which would usually take 12 months or more and several $1 million. I think that is the kind of exponential trend change is what's happening in the market. We have acquired a company called Innovata 2 years ago at Mentor Graphics. It was a very key acquisition for us. It gave us the ability to further strengthen our leading position in PCB and design system market. If you are not aware, Mentor Graphics is the #1 provider of printed circuit or integrated system design tools in the world. We acquired their flagship product called HATS. Beginning of this year, I've been given a responsibility to manage the operation of HATS. I feel that particular technology will help us bring in some of the more hardware-specific initiatives in Pakistan as well. Technology has a cult-like following. It's been around for a long time. It's one of the strongest and most robust design tools out there in the market. And it has a very significant potential in emerging geographies, I feel. So what can we do around this thing? I think some of the similar concepts that we employed in developing embedded systems tools. Developing a tool and technology that's modular, developing a technology that has the ability to extend the time, developing a technology that has key innovations implemented in simplistic and modular forms. And we intend to continue to focus on areas to where we feel that we will have the leadership position in that market. So I would say, as we go further, I think it makes sense for us to be able to have key people from the academia and the market to help devise a group. I would call it advisors group to ATI, to Mentor Graphics, or to this operation. And to be able to look for opportunities to see how we can collaborate between the industry and the private sector and the academia, and help draw foreign investment. Help further proliferate the technology in Pakistan. And to be able to gain more visibility in areas to where we don't have hardly any visibility or prominence. This would be a part of another discussion. I don't want to carry this thing on, but certainly it is something that is in the back of my mind. I think there has been one other subject that I think I would like to hit really quick, and that is around the ideas of collaborating between academia and ATI or Mentor Graphics Pakistan. I In fact, I'm never opposed to it. I've always thought that it is a great idea. Although I had concerns, and my concerns have been primarily that I don't want to dump out a lot of technology in the universities and institutes and not being able to have support or provide the infrastructure to help support various initiatives around those technologies, whether they're teaching initiatives or research initiatives or similar sort. Or in worst case, unable to manage the technology going forward. So as a result, I think as we go more towards various initiatives in EDA tool side, it is manageable to our comfort level, and I would like to invest in the infrastructure to help support these initiatives. Although I'm not sure if teaching these tools or technologies in the institutes that have a very wider focus is the right thing, or setting up small key training institutes with a very focused initiatives around it is the right thing to do with the short training courses. Again, something that we can further discuss, but I feel as we grow as an organization, as we grow as a company in this area, in this locale, and as we help drive other companies to come to Pakistan, I feel it is important that we legitimize various initiatives across collaboration between the two. I think we have successfully done this in other geographies. We have areas to where we brought in the key research people from the universities to help drive certain research activities. We have also had funded research activities across universities that will allow us to focus on a very key emerging technologies. Success has been marginal to some extent, but was nonetheless, EDA I feel is a technology that helped drive the electronics industry. It's a very small percentage of the electronic industry, but it certainly is one that has a significant contribution to the growth of the electronic industry. And academia is a very key part of it. In fact, IEEE is one of the most significant contributor in driving some of the emerging technology research. So again, to summarize, we've been through trials and tribulations. 5 years been long 5 years, but yet at the same time I feel, though I look back and I say they are successful 5 years. Whether we attain the productivity that we are looking for, probably not. But are we getting there? Absolutely. As far as getting the talent is concerned, I think that we make a great deal of progress there. There has been various courses that have been taught now that were taught 5 years ago in various institutes where we draw our engineers from. Great initiative. As we bring in some of the other electronic design tools into this group, I feel it will be helpful for us to further devise those technologies, a plan around those technologies to be able to make sure that we have the right talent comes out of school that could participate and support those products. As far as the technology is concerned, I think that landscape is constantly changing, and it is extremely important for academia to be on the cutting edge. And as we are, Mentor Graphics being one of the key players in that market, I feel it is a blessing for us to be able to have a local presence in this area so that we can take advantage of their technology, their contributions, and their foresight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As Mr. Gilani mentioned, we work very closely with the local academia, and in fact, obviously most of our prestigious technical and engineering schools in Pakistan. Dr. Zuhur Hassan, the Vice Chancellor of LUMS, Dr. Nur Muhammad Sheikh, the Dean of Electrical Engineering Department at UET, and Dr. Kesar Durrani, the Director of FAST in the University here in Lahore. And so I'd like to ask each one of them to come in turn and share a few thoughts with us on technology trends and the IT landscape in Pakistan. Dr. Hassan, if you'd like to come first.
Colleagues, guys, Assalamu alaikum. It's a cold call, as they say. I was not expecting, but let me take a couple of minutes to share my thoughts. First of all, I'd like to congratulate ATI and Mentor Graphics for the progress that they have made. One does get the opportunity to attend such functions of organizations, but then when one reflects, there are not too many organizations that have been able to maintain the momentum and continue to grow, and I hope that ATI does change that trend and continue to grow and flourish, because we need companies in this country, in this city, that get to the number of which sort of creates the economies of scale and creates the presence in the international market and gives confidence to others to come in here. And I hope that Mentor Graphics, its local facility here, will take a close look at other such ventures and develop the systems and processes which will enable it to continue to grow and maintain this momentum. And I think they have done well in this respect. And in this regard, I think the two key things which enable, in my view, companies to sustain. One is to make sure that they continue to focus on people rather than technology alone. But at the end of the day, it is the systems and processes which are put in place to enable the product development and technology which are important. But more important are the systems and processes which enable the people to continue to grow. And this because brings to my mind one incident when I used to work for a company called Tandem Computers. So they used to have a slogan which I think is very meaningful. Some of you may recall this company no longer exists. It was bought by Compaq, and then Compaq no longer exists and bought by ASPI. But they used to make this fault tolerant systems, and I actually used to work in design automation. Earned my living, I think, software for testing of chips and boards, and using tools like what Mentor Graphics actually works on. So they had this slogan which, there was a t-shirt which says, "We build systems," but at the back it said, "More importantly, we develop people."
That's what I think, that when we create and produce more engineers, more talent, there's a lot of opportunity still in Pakistan, and we should make also Lahore or Islamabad as Silicon Valley of Pakistan. As Indians they have done with Bangalore, we can do the same thing. Believe me, our human resources are second to none, and we can really do wonders if we all work together. I still remember another event when Justice Akhlaq Hussain, in the same hotel, he was on the deathbed, and he has a passion. He had a passion, and he said that I want to create an institution, and that was fast. And all of the engineers who participated in that activity, many of them they are still sitting here, and Dr. Durrani, Bilal Hashmi, and others. And he said that I want to just see that it is a true institution. And 25 crores were donated at that time by BCCI. And really, I think it's a great institution. We should honor these institutions and create more institutions in Pakistan. And that doesn't mean that the existing institutions should not exist. We can all coexist. We should have respect for each other, and there should be collaboration between industry and academics. We should produce such engineers who could really work for them. Now, Gilani has pointed out a very important thing, and that is that how could we collaborate with each other? I think a strong fundamental is extremely important. So a feedback from industry is required, but of course we cannot teach state-of-the-art technology in the universities, and that should not be expected from the universities. So when our engineer comes out, he should be able to work with the tools, fundamental concepts should be clear, and then of course the value added in the industry would be really great. And what he has pointed out, that the hardware and software should go hand in hand together, and that is the spirit in present-day institutions. And I've learned that LUNCS is also going towards engineering along with the management sciences. That's a good sign, and we should have healthy competition both in the private as well as in the public sector. Thank you once again. I congratulate ATI and Micrographics and wish success in the future. Thank you.
Dr. Durrani sir, would you like to come up, please?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. It is an honor for me to be here and share my thoughts with the people. First of all, it's great to see many of our past graduates working here. And the thing which is very important, as pointed out by Dr. Zabur also, that we create people. And the kind of people we used to create and still creating are what the computer scientists. And this company belongs to the engineering discipline. And these people, they did learn and change their discipline and learn new things. The thing is that we have been working at the FAST Institute in the computer science area for past almost 20 years. And we created the people who would go to the software industry primarily. But with the emergence of the engineering industry like ATI and our logic, we were able to participate in the software mechanism. Now for last 1 year or so, we have also been into the engineering discipline and trying to create the people in that area also. The other aspect that was Gilani Saab was about the collaboration part. For last few years, we have been discussing this thing, that how the industry and the academia could collaborate. We still have to go a long way in this area, as Dr. Noor pointed out, that the state-of-the-art technology doesn't exist in the academia in general. But these can be collaborated with the industry, and the brains who are working in the academia can participate and improve things and incorporate these concepts into the younger minds. So if the industry and the academia could work together positively, then I think these things could be done at a faster pace. I think for that, we too need to act swiftly so that these opportunities could be taken up at the earliest. The other point was that Gilani Sahab mentioned was the productivity of the software house, and he was worried about that though they have been meeting the targets, but the productivity is not what he's expecting from these people. I think again, for such matters, the universities can help them, or at least in past we have programs which are primarily targeting these kind of issues. And I think if the universities and the industry could work together, then these issues could be sorted out at a better pace. So again, I congratulate Gilani Sahab for the very kind and gesture that he invited us, and the 5 successful years that these people have enjoyed, and they're still working. Very last thing, that when we started our engineering program last year, not many people were enthusiastic about the computer engineering discipline. Everyone was looking that we should only go into the telecom area, but we insisted that this is one area where we should also put our hands. And I always used to give them example of 2-3 companies who are working very hard in Pakistan, and ATI was one of those companies which I could always mention to my board and say that this is an example, and we not only will produce people for this, but there are many other opportunities which have to come to this part. So still this is a field where not many people are enthusiastic to come on, because the industry is not there which could directly take these people. So if other people, other industries get into this area, then probably we could produce more people and create interest for the younger ones. So with these remarks, I hope that this company would moved a long way, and we, the industry and academia, could work together to produce better.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab. As part of our continuing commitment at keeping our engineering morale high, we have evaluated our engineers over the last 6 months, and I'd like to ask our local manager, Mr. Hassan Gilani, to hand out check prizes for our engineers of the last 6 months.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm extremely grateful to you all, Vice Chancellor, Lams University, Director of FAST, Dr. Muhammad Sheikh, the respective faculty members of FAST and the State Technology team. And I will not take much of your time. I would like to give cash prizes and certificates to three best performers of past 6 months. The first one is Fakhr Ahmed Ansari.
Is still in the office working?
So first he can come up and pick his check.
Assembly.
Oh, sorry, assembly. Found Rafiq from the same institute and from the compiler group. Mateen Hassan from UAE. So thank you very much. Please, dinner is ready.
He just looks like this. All right. I think we should get going. This picture.
Okay. ठीक है.
It is small. Yesterday, small, sub-small, and yesterday, saying up. Okay. Yesterday.
फ्लैश चल रही है. ये देखो फ्लैश चल रही है.
Yesterday.
ठीक है.
Saying up. Yes.
फ्लैश नहीं चल रही.
Saying.
طيب سلاو जल्दी. طيب
Saying one more.
एक मिनट वहाँ से थोड़ा सा नहीं सही है. आई थे जल्दी बात.